So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question.
This is one of those fucking moments where I just trigger the absolute worst babies on the internet by criticizing this. You know what I mean?
So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time? You know.
The video, of course, blows up, but the big reason that it's blowing up so much, of course, is because there are a lot of people making fun of her for using the term time blindness and being upset that a college wouldn't offer accommodations for time blindness.
And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job, you know, provided you're trying your absolute best, you know?
What if a young producer said, I'd like to work for you, I'm just a little time blind?
Yeah, the show is live, and we go live at 10 a.m., and we need you here several hours earlier. That's not going to fly on Wall Street. The market opens at 9:30. You better be at your desk by 6.
And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled.
What's going on?
That's why they call me so shady. I'm back. That's why they call me so shady.
So about 2 months ago, that video took its turn in the media cycle. It was covered by Fox News, Hassan Piker, you know, YouTubers, streamers alike. You get the point. I think I demonstrated that in the beginning of the video. And if for some reason it isn't already obvious enough, she's upset that the college, the university that she's applying to, or the place that she's trying to get into, doesn't seem like they're going to be able to accommodate her time blindness. And the person that she's with also, you know, gives her a bit of a lecture on, you know, how that may have been inappropriate to bring up at that time, you know, specifically stating that she's trying to ruin the workplace and, you know, all that kind of boomerish shit that you would expect someone elderly to say. Specifically not even being mad at her, but Zoomers in general, saying that Zoomers are going to like ruin the workplace, which, you know, as a millennial, you know, Zoomers, I'm just so happy as a 26-year-old man that the Zoomers are now going to be the butt of the lazy generational, you know, biased joke bullshit. You know, it's been a good ride for us millennials. We carried this burden for a long time, and it's just so nice to be passing it off to the next generation. But, you know, I'm pretty young for a millennial. I was born in 1997. I am 26 years old. So, you know, some millennials would even try to take that title away from me. Some of the, you know, 30-something-year-olds would like not even want me to have the title of millennial, being that, you know, I was born in 1997. I mean, I'm pretty much a Zoomer, right? What I'm trying to say is I feel like I can be a pretty good neutral observer of the situation. I can give a take that, you know, is pretty unbiased. I struggle to get along with anybody ever, all the time, because I feel like I'm like stuck. My positions and my ideologies on things are like stuck in between like your stereotypical like younger, I want to say millennial, but now it's the Zoomers, right? So just like your stereotypical millennial Zoomer takes, attitudes, philosophies, but then I also share some opinions with like older people, you know, so this is like a constant struggle for me as a person, these types of topics. So this one in particular, I feel like I can give a pretty level take here. Okay. And that's why I want to talk about this 2 months late, so no one's going to watch this. So please like and share the video if you've watched this far, because the algorithm ain't going to do shit for this. So let's take it back. Let's go back a little bit here and talk about accommodating people that are, I don't know, neurodivergent in the workplace. Yeah, of course, like accommodating people, you know, with dyslexia, you know, any type of disability, really. That's really important. It's important to try to level the playing field as much as possible, you know, being that people are genuinely willing to get up every day and get to work and do the best possible job they can. I would hate to see like a society grows and, you know, it gets easier to accommodate people, to just not accommodate people out of ignorance or personal bias on the situation, you know, even if it's like really not that big of an inconvenience in any metric to accommodate people with certain disabilities. or neurodivergent tendencies, or fuck it, even lifestyles that like don't conform to traditional means of a workplace, traditional standards of a workplace. Letting somebody work from home if they're a single parent, stuff like that. It doesn't even have to be a like textbook medical condition that we're accommodating here. If it doesn't affect the person's output, it doesn't affect their workflow, it doesn't affect the burden on like that person would have on the company, then like what is the problem with accommodating people, even if it's outside of traditional standards? It's important, it's moving forward, it's progressing. But time blindness, that sounds a little ridiculous. Well, if you look into it, you'll see that is a legitimate symptom of people with ADHD. I think I wrote a little thing about that in the closer to the beginning of this video before I started to ramble. It's a legitimate thing. That being said, I think there are very few jobs that overall, like, you don't need to be on a schedule. But the first thing that comes to mind is just showing up, right? If you're time blind, then you're not going to show up for work. I think that's what most people immediately go to when it comes to time blindness here. And honestly, like, I think there are jobs that like you don't need to like show up at a specific time every day. And honestly, a lot of people that are in the workforce can probably attest to that. I mean, in my experience, showing up for a job early in the morning, you see a lot of standing around, you see a lot of people getting coffee, getting into the groove of the day. I mean, would it really, like, if as long as the person comes in, even if they're supposed to be in at 8, they get in at 9, but they still get the same amount of work done. I mean, if you're actually physically there and looking around, mornings are usually pretty unproductive in my personal opinion. So, as long as it's not affecting your workflow, I can almost understand like not showing up at like a specific time every day for some jobs. I think that's actually not a crazy thing to think that like that could be accommodated. So, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to accommodate this person by just having a looser start time. Maybe they're just going to be 30 minutes late to work. And maybe that's, for this job, this, whatever they're going to be doing, whatever they want to participate in, maybe that won't be the worst thing in the world. I can picture a few jobs where this wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Okay. But honestly, let's take it past that for a moment. Let's think about what happens when this person is at work. Now, depending on the field, that could really be an issue if the person has, due to time blindness, extremely poor time management skills. I mean, just hypothetically, for the sake of this conversation, let's assume that this person is working in fast food. I don't even know what job they're doing. Let's say they're flipping burgers. I never worked in fast food, but let's just say that there's somebody that has to flip burgers all day long. And, this time blindness really hinders their ability to perform the task in a timely manner. Well, I guess you could accommodate that with just having someone nearby to make sure they stay going, to give them a little bump and be like, hey man, you got to keep it going. You're taking a little bit long here. But honestly, like, then that takes away from someone else's productivity. And, that's not good either. So this is a situation where it gets a little bit more difficult to accommodate. But, I guess, hypothetically, in this particular instance, at least, you could technically accommodate this time blindness even when they're at work. So yes, I mean, I guess technically the employer could accommodate for this. It's not like it would be impossible to accommodate for someone suffering from like severe time management skill issues due to their time blindness. But is it really the employer's responsibility to make sure that they're able to accommodate you in this job? Like, are you entitled to have an employer accommodate you on all of your particular needs, no matter how justified you are in those needs, no matter how real those needs are? No, I don't think they are. You are not entitled to just have any job you want and do any job you want just because you want to do that job at this particular place, or this particular place is hiring for that position and that's a position that you want. Okay, that's not something that's owed to you, and it's not the employer's responsibility to make sure that you're going to be able to be the person to fill that position. And I know with this case in particular, it seems like she was applying at a college. She was having like an interview at a college. And actually there was another video that this person made that I'm not going to play because this video is already going to be long enough with me babbling on. But it turns out the person that she was in this interview with was actually her mom. The person that lectured her was actually her mom. So yeah, definitely probably like a college that she was interviewing with, because I don't know many jobs that would let you bring your mommy along with you to interview. And it sounds like she had this question over whether they would accommodate her time blindness, and the mom kind of tried to like shush her up and like change the topic to save her from losing the opportunity to get into this college. Because, you know, obviously it's not a job, but the college also has standards it probably wants to uphold, and it probably doesn't want to, like, you know, they can reserve the right to not accept somebody into the college when they're telling them like, hey, you know, I suffer from time blindness. Do you have accommodations for that? I mean, it, especially from the mother's perspective, that was probably like, oh my God, this is like, that was a red flag. That was a red flag. So, you know, it wasn't so much like a disrespectful thing from my interpretation of these events than the mom hearing her daughter say something that might jeopardize her ability to get into this college and have this opportunity, and the mom kind of trying to like shush her up, and then, you know, get a little frustrated at the situation that had just happened. But this honestly, to me, it seems like this girl has fallen into a trap that I see a lot of people fall into. I don't know if this phenomenon was around before the internet, but the internet has greatly exacerbated this issue where people see things that discomfort them in their lives, things that inconvenience them in their lives, things that they, you know, they see people around them accommodating this, like they take something in that they find to be like uncomfortable. They don't like it. And they find people that feel similarly to them on the internet, you know, and they get together in these little clumps and they affirm their own bias. And, you know, that results in like these weird interactions where this person says something that they believe to be a completely reasonable question to ask, but whether it is a reasonable question or not, it doesn't conform to social norms, which, you know, there are some times where you just gotta conform to social norms. You as a person have to sometimes, you know, what's the word? Make compromises to be able to just thrive in society and live a happy life. I mean, like I've personally been very depresso with some things going on at work for me, but, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I am, you know, there's things you can do, you know, like I have options, right? Like if I don't like the way things are at work, I can always find another job. Currently, you know, I'm working on a side venture. You know, I would hope to be able to grow my side work into like a full-blown business and kind of just do that. But, like, you know, for the time being, you know, there are certain compromises I have to make to be able to, you know, function in society. And, you know, whether that be fair or not, whether I be in the right or not, that's part of the reason I wanted to make this video. And if you're watching this far, you know, I think it's important to, you know, have your own opinions and be able to think for yourself, but also, like, it's a very dangerous thing to get so hooked up on the internet and to live so closely to the internet that, you know, you can't even function. You can't even go out into the real world and function. You know, it's just not good. It's not good. And it's a trap that I see a lot of people fall into, where they let their opinions and these things that are said on the internet affect how they conduct themselves in real life. And I think that's definitely what resulted in this person saying what she said, and, you know, her overall feelings on the situation. So honestly, I think that's all I have. This was probably a pretty light video. I'm just trying to get back into the groove. I'm also in a new room. It's kind of echoey and stuff. So regardless, I hope you liked it. I'll hopefully be making some more videos soon. That's been it. It's been me, Joe Schmo. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.